Welcome to First and 15, fifth quarter. Guys, this is going to be our rate my board edition. Listen, Chris Holland, our guy on Twitter, follows the show.
You got your own show. You got your own.
He has his own
fifth
show.
quarter.
He owes us an NFT.
We
ain't forget.
owes us a free NFT.
NFT.
Yeah.
I don't even know what those are, but I want mine.
No, I know what they are.
He
I
sent
don't
us
want no
his-
bullshit NFT. I want a real.
He sent us his board, guys. Let's go through it right quick. Unique as hell. I mean, 3 tight ends in the first 4 rounds. And
Wait, you didn't even say what pick he was.
so he is the 8th pick.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah.
So he went Bajan with his first pick, Mark Andrews, TJ Hawk, and then Darren Waller.
Keep going. Keep listen the entire team. Listen the entire team.
Listen to the entire team. Aaron Jones, he didn't pick a receiver to round 6, and that's Deontay Johnson, then David Montgomery, Jahan Dotson, Kadarius Toney. He got Khalil Herbert, Jamal Williams. I do like the fact that he took Daniel Jones in round 12.
Chris Godwin in the 4th?
Rasheed Rice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
You don't like his
And then he
team?
got Jared Goff.
I don't like it. Look, I don't mind the unusual builds. I don't mind the, if you want to try your hand at the hero RB, zig when others zag, or the
What don't you like about it,
hero.
though?
So when I don't like, and this goes for zero RB, it goes for robust RB, robust tight end build, drafting 3 at the top, 5 tight ends off the board. I don't like, okay, I'm so strong at these positions, the tight end and the flexes. I'm so strong at my wide receiver. I'm so strong at my running backs. But then I'm punting 2 other positions. Mm-hmm. I feel like you can't do that. Like if I see a 0 wide receiver team and then you're able to at least get you 1 running back that, and then figure out your RB2. So that's like the spot to week at. But then you have an elite quarterback. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
If you have like a robust RB build, okay, you got 4 guys who you feel like are just like legit like stompers. You get Christian McCaffrey, then Derrick Henry comes to you, then Jonathan Taylor falls, and then Josh Jacobs falls, and you're like, I'm gonna play this game. Or you got 4 other guys, of some caliber that you feel like are just absolute true workhorses, guys who could potentially get you 300 plus points, and I'm going to dominate. In this particular, this is a FFPC, so it's 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex, 1 tight end, 1 quarterback. So if you're like, I'm going to dominate at these positions, and then I'll be weak at one position, I'm fine with that. But you cannot be weak at quarterback, I don't think. I think you really, if you're going to go with that aggressive build, you got to make sure that you're only weak at one position, max 2. But you got to make sure, for me, it really can't be the quarterback position and the tight end position.
He's not weak at quarterback.
So that's what I'm saying. What do you think he's weak at specifically?
I think
The
he's weak at quarterback. I think he's
and-
weak at quarterback
And what was the other position?
and the wide receivers.
Wide receiver 2 or wide receivers in
Wide
the
receiver 1 and 2.
Oh, got you.
You're putting Deontay Johnson against somebody else's wide receiver 1,
Yeah.
and then you're putting Jahan Dotson against somebody else's wide receiver 2.
Well, can I say something about it?
So, and you're putting Daniel Jones against somebody else's quarterback. So that's like 3 positions, and then you're hoping that Darren Waller, TJ Hawkinson, Mark Andrews are going to be able to outproduce these other guys. I think you're like asking too much, and it's too much of a risk.
Can I say something about it? And I'm looking at it. At first, when I first saw it, I was kind of the same wavelength as you, what you were thinking. But the more I looked at the whole team, I guess I'm trying to put myself in Mr. Holland's shoes.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, but I think I kind of see what he was trying to do. Like, okay, so first of all, I always tell y'all, when I see a team that has multiple tight ends, what they're basically telling me is they're filling in their flex spots with these tight ends.
Right.
So this guy is basically saying my flex spots are locked. Whole season long is going to be a tight end locked in, and 2 tight ends are going to be in my flexes. So then he's like, okay, and then I just need 2 running backs and 2 receivers. He has Bijan and Aaron Jones, which I feel pretty good as far as running back. Those are solid running
absolutely,
backs.
absolutely.
So then the really question is the 2 wide receivers. He might like Deontay. I like Deontay. I don't know if I like
as
him.
your wide receiver 1.
Again, I don't know if I like him as my wide receiver 1, but I like Deontay. Jahan Dotson is when you start to be like, I like him, but we don't know.
Right.
So, again, I'm looking at his team. What sticks out to me the most is he has a good amount of first look players. Look at Toney, first look player. Goff, first look player. Rashid Rice, first look player. Buckner, Ross. What he might be trying to do is say, okay, yeah, my wide receiver is weak, but one of these guys are going to hit in that first game, and I can figure out.
Yeah.
So if I could just get through that week one.
But you picked the most unlikely guys.
I mean, he might not see it. The only guy he didn't pick for the Chiefs is Sky Moore.
None of those guys that he drafted are running with the first team.
I mean, but the only guy he didn't pick.
I like Justin Ross.
MVS, did he not pick MVS? Who picked MVS? Go down.
MVS from the 17th round, just before he got to Justin Ross.
I see. And he took him. He might have been targeting MVS. He might have been trying to. I'm just saying.
But I guess I get that point. But
I'm just saying that might be what he was targeting to do, because if say for instance one of those wide receivers do hit, so then it's like one hits. You have to decide between Deontay and Dotson.
But that's good.
The other ones are locked in, and then Goff is a first look guy too. What if Goff has a good game?
So you're doing all this for week one, and they could all have good games, and you could still lose, and you're still handicapping three positions, and your quarterback, which is a very important position because that's a position that scores you the most. And I'm a Daniel Jones guy. I'm just saying, if I'm going Daniel Jones, I need to be star-studded at everything. Two running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. I need to just have all of that locked down.
Here's the issue for me. OG sent a tweet maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, and it was a tweet about the top tight ends. I think you responded to it as well, Dio, about the top tight ends
I did.
And what they correspond to with receivers. And it was even when you get a top 4th or 5th tight end, that's really a top 18 to 20 receiver.
No.
So you have to really hit.
Yes.
His receivers have to be 1, 2, and 3 almost for this to work out.
I think what he was really saying in his tweet was, if you're going to go for tight ends, if you're not getting the top 1 or 2, then when you start going to the tight end 3, 4 range, the difference between tight end 3 and 4 and the difference between tight end 10 is minimal.
Right. So that's
there's a wider gap between 2 and 3.
Right,
so what he might be trying to say is, I am trying to get that tight end 2, 3, or maybe even the tight end 1 if he thinks maybe Kelsey regresses.
But he has to hit.
You asking a lot. Andrews to be the tight end 1 or TJ Hawk to be the tight end 1.
I mean, a lot of people think there's people that have drafted Andrews in the first round. There's people that think Andrews can be that guy, and I've seen Hawkinson go in the early 3rd. So theoretically, that's kind of a value. The Darren Waller, we talked about Darren Waller before. I think he's going too high now. I get it. There's buzz. Everybody think he's going to be the number 1 target, so I get it.
But I'll give you that. I'll give you that those guys hit. My issue still is you were still weak at 3 or 4 other positions.
Yeah, well, two, right?
No, his wide receiver 1, his wide receiver 2,
got you.
His flex 2, and his quarterback, which to me again is 2. Yeah, whoever is going to be starting in this flex 2 position.
The tight ends are in the flexes.
That's one flex position.
No, both.
Oh, both.
Both.
Okay, got you.
Now, I understand what you're saying, Abby. I'm just saying he might be saying, because I approach drafts sometimes the same way. I approach drafts with if I could just see what happens in week 1, I just need to see it and know how it plays out. Then I can really make my week 2 roster.
See, but what happens?
Part of this too is I got a little bit of bias because I think it was last year, maybe the year before. I had a team. It was Kelsey, Andrews, Kittle, Mahomes, and I think I had a legit wide receiver. It may have been Cup because I think he ended up getting injured. And then I had
there's no way you had Cup and Kels.
No. Okay, so you're right. I didn't have Cup and Kels, but I had a legit wide receiver, and that team made it to the playoffs, but it was a struggle. It was a struggle. That team was had 0 chance.
See, but what happens if Kadarius Toney comes back and he's the man in Kansas City? Khalil Herbert could be the starting running back in Chicago. So maybe that feels...
Okay, so when you start saying that, when I see that, does it matter? Because if the only way you can play Herbert, you have to sit Bijan or Aaron Jones. You have to.
Or if one of those tight ends get hurt or doesn't hit.
If one of those tight ends get hurt or don't hit, then your team,
done?
your team's not there yet.
Yeah.
You need those guys to hit.
Yeah,
You need
that's
those
the whole
guys to
purpose
hit.
of this build.
Like, honestly, if I looked at this bill, and Herbert's not a bad pick, but I probably would have got like maybe 4 or 5 running backs and just started hammering receivers like crazy.
I'm not gonna lie.
Which he kind of did,
Yeah.
but like Abby said, though, if you have to figure out a way to fill those 2 wide receiver slots comfortably,
Yeah.
or this team is not going to make it.
Yeah, it's just so hard. I feel like to win it all, and not have like a legit wide receiver, like a legit wide receiver one. Because running back is one of those positions that throughout the season, like you can get guys off of waivers or guys that are like in the later rounds, they can put up 15 to 20 points, and that can combat somebody that drafted Christian McCaffrey in the first round.
Look at the 13th round, Kyron Williams.
Yeah, or like even with the tight end, like we've seen it. We've like made a living off of late round tight ends, and then even with the quarterback, you can get there with the late round quarterback. Like we're huge Daniel Jones fans,
But it's just one, right?
But it's just
not
one.
2.
Yeah, but the issue is like when it comes to the wide receivers, how many late round wide receivers just like are able to get you what a Tyreek Hill?
I would say
Justin
none.
Jefferson. Like it's so hard.
I would say none, except for like
you
rookies.
are losing at that. So I mean, you gotta just like you gotta hit at everything.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you gotta have hit the nuts, which is extremely hard.
Okay,
to do.
so Mr. 2-time winner, which team do you like the most?
I don't think there's a clear winner to me.
One, I'm not a fan of. I think I'm not a fan of that team. 2, got a second spot. I'm not a fan of. Again, kind of goes back to the same spot. His like best wide receiver is between Christian Kirk and Mike Evans, and he got questionable other flex positions. Team 3, not a fan of.
It's okay though.
It's okay. It's okay. But I'm not really seeing any teams that I'm just like in
Look at
love
10.
with.
Look at team.
Look at 10.
Look at team 6.
Team 6 is Eckler, Jalen.
They got that Charger stack.
But look at 10 though.
I don't mind that one. Actually, Team 6 I actually kind of like. Team 6 to me is one of those teams. It's like a Hail Mary, not a Hail Mary team, but it's like a high upside team. Dalton Kincaid, George Kittle, and then you just got a couple of wide receivers like Waddle, Mike Williams, Elijah Moore. I kind of like them as upside, and their running backs: Austin Eckler, Jamari Gibbs, Cooks, and then you got
James
Herbert.
Cook.
So actually, I do like that team. Actually, that's definitely probably up there as far as my favorite. Brees in the third. I'm already.
What do you think about team?
Well, look at 10. That starts off with
10.
Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams. I think Hop they took
That's
Hop
not
a little
bad.
early.
That's not bad.
That team I don't like because who's going to be your RB1
James Conner. You just got to fill it out. James Conner.
for like how long? Like who's going to be your thumper come playoff times? Because if you're going to start,
you got to fill that out. But you don't know that.
But this is what I'm saying. This is FFPC. This is a high stakes. People aren't just like discarding guys like Zach Charbonnet or Tajay Spears or even Kyron. Maybe if you get lucky, but majority of them are not. Yeah. So then I look at this team and I'm like, okay, who are like the late round guys that you got is just like your thumpers, and there's nobody. Like you got Jerick McKinnon and Kareem Hunt.
I got you.
And then so it's not a terrible team, but also I don't we'll see what happens with Hopkins. Obviously
where did Hopkins
took Hopkins
in the
kind of
third.
early in the third.
And
in the
Cooper,
third.
Yeah. I feel like that's a little early, but
wow.
But I still like the team though. I still like the build a little bit.
All right. The Chubb team and Team 12. Yeah, I'd probably say the Austin Eckler team is probably my favorite.
Yeah,
it's just it's a unique type build. I like builds like this. I feel like people sometimes people.
But they took Kyron in the 13th. Yeah. They could have literally waited till like round 17 and got Kyron.
Yeah, I know how I feel about ADP. I don't really care where he takes.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying you could have gotten Kyron and gotten somebody else that you liked.
Team 4 isn't bad either.
I mean, before the Dalvin Cook news, I mean, maybe that's everybody that he wanted. Maybe he wanted Tank Dell. He wanted Isaiah Likely. He wanted the Philadelphia Eagles defense. He wanted Damian Harris. Like, he just went and got his guys. There's so many guys, especially when this got drafted before all the news dropped, that he was just like, these are the guys that I want.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I get all of them.
I guess.
All right, guys. That's our episode. Fifth quarter this week.
Yeah.
We're out. Please like, rate, subscribe. Yeah. We're out.
All right. D- was maybe a little too strong. I'm gonna go ahead and say C+. Because I do like that, you were like, okay, I'm gonna go for something unique.
Yeah,
but
it's a unique build
think,
for sure.
But I think you just gotta you gotta work on fine tuning it a little bit.
Do better.